Hey class, today we're looking at some latitude and longitude basics. So we're going to start with latitude, get this up on the screen. Um, Lines running east and west, they're parallel to each other, meaning they're never going to intersect. So when we see the picture, they navigate the planet. I like to think of them like a ladder. We can climb north of the equator or we can climb south of the equator. It's important to remember they run east-west, but they measure north-south. And then we have lines of longitude. These lines run north-south, but then they measure distance east and west. And they measure that distance using meridians, okay? And I think of them like they're long, they're tall, they're running north-south, they're running long. They intersect at the poles though. All the lines meet up at the poles. So if we follow this one, it's going to intersect with this one at the North Pole, same thing at the South Pole. But when we put these together, it creates a grid system. So we have our lines of latitude, our lines of longitude, and we put them together and it creates this grid. It allows us to pinpoint absolute location, and we can find any spot on the planet then using this grid system. We have some special lines. We'll talk about those. We have the equator, 0 degrees latitude. It separates the globe into northern and southern hemispheres. And then we also have the prime meridian, prime meaning most important. It's the line at 0 degrees longitude. And then it separates the globe into western and eastern hemispheres. We have our tropics. We have the Tropic of Cancer, which is in the northern hemisphere, 23.5 north. The most direct rays from the sun hit this on June 21st, our summer solstice. This is our longest day of the year. And then we have Tropic of Capricorn, which is in the southern hemisphere at 23.5 degrees south. The sun's most direct rays are going to hit this on December 21st, our winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. So this would be our shortest day of the year. Now, if we lived in the southern hemisphere, this would be opposite. June 21st would be our shortest day, and then December 21st would be our longest day. The Arctic and Antarctic circles. The Arctic circle, 66.5 north latitude. This circles the North Pole. Receives 24 hours of sunlight on the summer solstice, 24 hours of darkness on the winter solstice. And then the Antarctic circle, 66.5 degrees south, and this is around the South Pole. So it's going to be flipped from the North Pole, 24 hours of darkness on the summer solstice, 24 hours of sunlight on the winter solstice. So we have some special lines. Equator, 0 degrees latitude, prime meridian, 0 degrees longitude. We have our Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, and I like to remember that Cancer has the N in it, which comes before the P in Capricorn, which helps me to remember that the Cancer is in the north and the Tropic of Capricorn is in the south. And then with this image here, we're just looking at, it's important to remember, so if we have the sun, and we'll smiley face our sun here, the rays are coming out. So as the planet is taking its revolution around the sun, it's rotating on an axis, right? And then we have to remember that the axis is tilted, which is what creates the variance in days as it rotates around the sun. So just a little tidbit there, keep that in mind, and we'll be back with you another time.